Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening while doing chores, commuting to work, or just relaxing at home, we are so glad you chose to spend this time with us. Today's episode is going to be warm, practical, and really useful for your everyday English.
Hey everyone. You know what? I was thinking about today's topic this morning while making my coffee, and I got genuinely excited about it. It's one of those themes that comes up in everyday life all the time, and so many English learners don't quite know how to express it naturally. We're going to change that today, and I think you're going to love what we have planned.
Before we jump in, I want to ask you something. Write in the comments below. What's one thing you're hoping for right now? It can be big or small. Maybe you're hoping to improve your English, or hoping it doesn't rain this weekend, or hoping for some really good news. Whatever it is, share it with us because we truly do read every single comment you leave.
And while you're down there in the comments, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button on Simple English Talks so you never miss a new episode. We post regularly and we really don't want you to miss out. We appreciate every single one of you so much, and your support keeps this channel going.
All right, let's not wait any longer. It's time to talk about hope. We'll start with the most basic and most useful form, the one you'll use every single day.
All right, let's not wait any longer. It's time to talk about hope. We'll start with the most basic and most useful form, the one you'll use every single day.
So the most common way to use hope in English is with this simple structure. I hope plus subject plus verb. For example, I hope it's sunny tomorrow. Or, I hope you feel better soon. Or, I hope we finish on time. This structure is easy to remember and incredibly flexible. You can use it in almost any situation from casual chats to professional conversations. Just think, I hope, then add a full sentence right after, and you're ready to go.
I love this structure because it really does work everywhere. Let me give you a few more examples so it really clicks for you. I hope the traffic isn't too bad today. I hope she gets the job. I hope we have time to catch up soon. You can say these things in a text message to a friend, in a conversation with a colleague, or even in a professional email. It's one of the most flexible and most natural phrases in the entire English language.
Now here's a really important point. After I hope, we usually don't use will in everyday speech. So instead of saying, I hope it will rain, native speakers just say, I hope it rains. It's simpler, it flows better, and it sounds so much more natural. The simple present tense almost always follows I hope in casual conversation. Start dropping that will, and you'll instantly sound more fluent.
And here's something I really like. You can use I hope as a warm response in conversation too. If a friend says, I have a big presentation tomorrow, you say, oh, I hope it goes really well. If someone mentions they're not feeling great, you say, I hope you feel better. It's a caring, natural way to show that you're listening and that you genuinely care about the person you're talking to.
Okay, quick practice moment right now. Say this sentence out loud. I hope today is a great day. Go on, say it. Now try making your own. Think of one thing you're hoping for this week, and form a sentence starting with, I hope. Saying it out loud is one of the most powerful ways to make language stick in your memory, so don't skip this step.
And there's one more version you should know. I'm hoping. This means you're actively thinking about something and really wanting it to happen. I'm hoping to visit my family next month. I'm hoping for some good news soon. It has a slightly stronger, more personal, more emotionally involved feeling than just I hope on its own. Write in the comments, I'm hoping, and finish that sentence. Tell us what you're hoping for right now.
And of course, you can use all of this for other people too. He hopes to find a new job. She's hoping the weather clears up. Just change the subject and the structure stays exactly the same. It's wonderfully consistent and easy to build on.
Great work. In this section, we covered the structure I hope plus subject plus verb, we learned to drop will after I hope in everyday speech, and we learned I'm hoping for a stronger, more personal kind of wish. You've already got some really solid tools to use today.
Now, let's look at some really common phrases that English speakers use every day to express hope. These might not always show up in textbooks, but you'll hear them constantly in real conversations. The first one is hopefully. You can use this word at the beginning of a sentence to mean, I hope that. So instead of, I hope we're not late, you can simply say, hopefully we're not late. It sounds relaxed, natural, and very native-like, and it takes no extra effort to use.
Oh, I use hopefully all the time. Honestly, it comes out of my mouth almost every day. If someone asks whether I'll make it somewhere on time, I'll say, hopefully, I'm just leaving now. Or if a friend is worried about something, I'll say, hopefully it all works out for you. It's one of those words that makes your English sound instantly more fluent. And the great news is, you can start using it today in your very next conversation.
Oh, I use hopefully all the time. Honestly, it comes out of my mouth almost every day. If someone asks whether I'll make it somewhere on time, I'll say, hopefully, I'm just leaving now. Or if a friend is worried about something, I'll say, hopefully it all works out for you. It's one of those words that makes your English sound instantly more fluent. And the great news is, you can start using it today in your very next conversation.
The next phrase is fingers crossed, and this one is really fun. This expression means you're hoping for good luck. In English-speaking culture, people sometimes physically cross their fingers as a symbol of wishing for something good, and they use that phrase in everyday speech as well. I applied for the job yesterday, fingers crossed. Or, we're planning a picnic on Saturday, fingers crossed the weather cooperates. You'll hear this all the time in casual, friendly conversations.
And here's one more great phrase. Let's hope so, and let's hope not. These are perfect short, warm responses when you want to agree with someone else's hope. If your friend says, I hope the bus comes soon, you reply, let's hope so. If they say, I hope it's not too crowded at the mall, you reply, let's hope not. These little responses show you're engaged, they keep the conversation flowing, and they sound completely natural and connected.
Now, let's think about formal versus informal usage for a moment. In a professional email, you'd write something like, I hope this message finds you well, or we hope to hear from you soon. These are polished and appropriate for the workplace. But in everyday conversation with friends, you'd say, hopefully I'll see you soon, or fingers crossed the weekend is quiet. Different situations, different levels of formality, and you're learning to navigate both.
Exactly right. And here's a reassuring tip. If you're ever unsure whether to be formal or informal, I hope is safe in almost every single situation. You can use it with your teacher, your boss, your best friend, or a stranger. It's always appropriate and always sounds warm. Now, write in the comments. Use hopefully or fingers crossed in a sentence about something in your own life. We would genuinely love to read every one.
Perfect. So in this section, we learned hopefully for a relaxed, natural way to express hope, fingers crossed for wishing for luck, and let's hope so and let's hope not as warm, engaging responses in conversation.
You're building such a wonderful vocabulary. Let's keep going and explore even more ways to use hope in English.
Now let's explore some words that grow directly out of hope, and these are going to help you describe feelings and situations in a much richer, more expressive way. The first word is hopeful. If you feel hopeful, it means you're feeling positive and you believe something good might happen. She's feeling really hopeful about her interview tomorrow. We're hopeful that things will improve soon. It's an adjective, so it describes how a person feels or how a situation looks and feels from the outside.
I really love the word hopeful because it sounds so warm and uplifting. You can use it to describe yourself or even to encourage someone else. If a friend is nervous about something, you can say, "Try to stay hopeful. I really think it's going to go well." It's such a kind, supportive thing to say, and it shows genuine emotional care. That's exactly the kind of language that builds real connections with people.
The opposite, naturally, is hopeless. This means something feels impossible to improve, or someone is really, really bad at something. I'm absolutely hopeless at directions. I get lost literally everywhere I go. Or, it felt hopeless at first, but we kept trying, and eventually things got so much better. People often say, "I'm hopeless at," about themselves in a joking, self-aware way, and it sounds charming and very relatable when used like that.
But here's a really important cultural tip. Be careful saying, "You're hopeless," directly to another person. It can sound quite harsh or unkind if someone takes it seriously. Saying it about yourself is funny and endearing. Saying it to someone else, though, might come across as an insult. Language is always about more than just the words. Tone and context matter enormously, so read the situation carefully.
And then there's my personal favorite expression, hopeless romantic. A hopeless romantic is someone who always believes in love and romance, someone who loves grand gestures and fairy tale endings, even after they've been let down before. She watches every love story she can find. She is such a hopeless romantic. It's usually said with warmth and gentle amusement, and most people consider it a sweet thing to be called.
Are you a hopeless romantic? I think I might be. Write in the comments right now. Use one of these words in a sentence about yourself. Hopeful, hopeless, or hopeless romantic. Personal examples are the best way to learn because they make the language meaningful and memorable. You've just expanded your vocabulary in a really beautiful direction, and you should feel proud of that.
All right, now it's time for common mistakes. And I want to be completely honest with you. I have made every single one of these at some point. The first and biggest one is mixing up hope and wish. Here's the key difference. I hope is for things that are still possible. I hope I pass the exam means there's still a real chance. But I wish is for things that can't happen or are very unlikely. I wish I could fly. So if you say, "I wish I get the job," it sounds like you think it's already impossible. What you really mean is, "I hope I get the job." That one small change makes a huge difference.
Such an important distinction. And honestly, so many learners mix these up, so don't feel alone if you do. The second mistake is adding will after "I hope." We already talked about this, but it's worth repeating because it comes up so often. "I hope it will stop raining" is technically correct, but in everyday speech, native speakers almost always say, "I hope it stops raining." Without the will, it sounds more fluid, more natural, and more conversational. Make it a habit, and you'll notice the difference immediately.
The third mistake is using hopefully in an awkward position inside a sentence. Hopefully works best right at the beginning. Hopefully we'll be on time. If you try to squeeze it into the middle of a complex sentence, it can sometimes sound a bit off. So when in doubt, just put it at the very start of your sentence and you'll be perfectly safe every time.
And the fourth one, mixing up hopeful and hoping. "I'm hopeful" means you have a general positive feeling about something. "I'm hoping" means you're actively wishing for one specific thing right now. "I'm hopeful about my future" is broad and warm. "I'm hoping to get a call back today" is specific and immediate. Both are correct, they just carry slightly different shades of meaning. Don't worry if this feels subtle at first. The more you use these words, the more natural the difference will feel. And please remember, mistakes are not failures. They're just steps forward in disguise.
Let's do some practice. I'll give you 2 sentences each time, and you pick the one that sounds more natural in everyday English. Ready? Here we go. Number 1. Option A. I hope it will be a nice day tomorrow. Option B. I hope it's a nice day tomorrow. Think about it for a moment before you decide.
If you chose option B, you are absolutely right. I hope it's a nice day tomorrow is what you'd hear from a native speaker in normal conversation. Dropping the will makes it sound relaxed, natural, and fluent. You already knew this from earlier in the episode, and the fact that you got it shows the lesson is really sticking. That's something to feel great about.
Number 2. Option A. Fingers crossed she gets the promotion. Option B. I wish she gets the promotion. Which one sounds right to you? Take your time and think about the difference between hope and wish before you answer.
Option A is the winner. Fingers crossed she gets the promotion is natural and warm and encouraging. I wish she gets the promotion doesn't quite work grammatically. We'd say, I hope she gets the promotion instead. You probably spotted that right away after everything we covered today. Write your answer in the comments so we can cheer you on.
Last one. Option A. I'm hopeless at math. Option B. I'm hopeless for math. Which is the correct one?
Option A is correct. You're always hopeless at something, not for something. I'm hopeless at swimming, hopeless at parallel parking, hopeless at remembering people's names. It's always at. Now make your own sentence. Write, I'm hopeless at, in the comments, and tell us something you genuinely,